Hey, family, if you've been looking for a way to grow, heal, or just pour into yourself while you're on the go, listen up. Audible has something special going on right now. For a limited time, you can get Audible Premium Plus for just 99 cents a month for 3 months. That's access to thousands of audiobooks, podcasts, and exclusive series that feed your mind and strengthen your spirit, all for less than a cup of coffee. Here's the best part. When you sign up through the link that's in this episode's description, you're not only investing in your personal growth, but you're supporting Rise and Thrive and the mission to help people evolve mind, body, and spirit. So don't wait. Your next breakthrough might be just one listen away. Tap the link below and start your Audible journey today. Good morning and welcome to Rise and Thrive with Dr. J. Nicole, where we are rising in faith and thriving in purpose. Today, I am joined by Dr. Stacia Thompson, an author, social innovator, and strategist with a career spanning over 20 years of experience in higher education, workforce development, economic development, nonprofit, entrepreneurship, and community service. With a doctorate in higher education focusing on teaching and learning, Stacia combines academic expertise with practical leadership. Her passion for DEI, workforce development, and entrepreneurial culture drives her work in creating sustainable businesses and community impact. Stacia's contributions span various sectors. Her personal experience, including being a parent of a neurodivergent child, inform her empathetic and resilient approach to leadership and community building. Welcome, Stacia.
I'm
I'm
so
calling
glad
you
to be
Dr.
here,
Thompson today.
Stacia. I'm all,
You earned it. I'll slide a couple docs in.
yeah, I'll do the same for you.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So, we're here today and we are going to be talking about something very special that you did.
Yes.
And let's write a book.
Yeah.
Yes, y'all. Reclaim peace, time, and energy. Pause the power of intentional rest. So today is going to be just about that. And I love the note that you wrote inside of here for me about intentional rest. And so what I really love about this, Stacia, is how you have the book and this separate accompanying journal. I love that, and I know we'll get into that more, and I love the texture on here. This is very, like that tactile part of me, it's like, this is even soothing.
Yes. It's all organic, all goes together. Just, we have those moments in the day where can have mindful moments or just notice little things because we're not taking a break. So it's just little
Uh-huh.
things, the colors, the way it feels,
Mhm.
it all goes together.
I love the intentionality behind it, for sure. Because I picked that up, I said, "Oh, wait a minute, I don't remember it feeling this good the other times I was handling it, but maybe because I was doing other stuff and not being intentional and mindful."
Yes.
But tell us a little bit about what inspired you to write Pause: The Power of Intentional Rest.
So, we plan everything but our rest, right? We meal prep, we plan our vacations, and even those really aren't rest all the time. But life has a way of sometimes making you rest too. And so this one day, I just was like, I can't do this. I don't have anything left in me. So I dropped my son off at school and went back home, let my boss know this is a sick day, and it was for my mental health. And so I call those my Power of the PJs day. So then I started scheduling them. And it was always in the middle of the week, because the weekend we already most of the time is scheduled, but we already got that off. So it'd be in the middle of the week and it'd be a shut off of no laptop, no cell phone. I'd be on the couch in my pajamas, watching reality TV, eating junk food, taking naps, go back from the bed to the couch. And I really needed that reset for
Yeah.
myself. And so as I move forward, even in my career, I remember telling in my leadership, I told him, I said, just so you know, I do take mental health days. And it's just as much for you as it is for me.
Yeah.
So then fast forward, I was on it. I was a panelist for a women in business symposium. And one of the questions asked about work-life balance. And so I told them I don't really subscribe to that. I believe in work-life integration. And then I said I have my Power of my PJs days. And so had me explain what they were. And then when I got done, she said, that sounds like a book. That was 2 years ago. And this
Okay.
year I birthed it and it was brought to fruition.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about that process in writing a book because that's one of those things that seems like so daunting or like I mean, they're like, yeah, of course she could do that. She's a doctor. Like, yeah, but like what was that
Child.
process like for you?
Uh, you know, one thing sometimes we don't do as individuals, as in this hustle and grind, kind of society, we don't ask for help. And so
Mm,
when it was originally brought to me, I was like, yeah, I could write about this, but I don't know where to start. Then I was like, I started and stopped, started and stopped. And then there was some divine intervention that got placed to bring me back to it. Because
okay.
I swore I was never gonna write anything else again after I defended
After
that
that
dissertation.
dissertation. Yeah, you need a good break after that.
But this writing was different. And so, as God would have it, I got connected to a publisher who's also, she's actually a mental health professional, also a woman of
Mm,
faith. And I was giving her information, and I still didn't do anything with it for like 2 months.
yeah.
And then I finally made an appointment with her. We just connected everything she shared. And then I just so happened to be in Indianapolis one weekend. My niece was going to University of Indianapolis. She was on the softball team. So the Saturday games
Uh-huh.
got rained out. I was in the hotel and I just started talking to Copilot. And Copilot transcribed everything that I talked about, what I want the chapters to look like, what I really want to make sure I got across in the book. And then after her
Yeah.
and I met and I signed my contract, I sent her that transcript and she created me 20 writing prompts and she gave me 90 days.
Woo.
She said, if you don't do this in 90 days, you're never going to do it and you're never going to finish. So I had my 500 words a day. Um, and she got me to the finish line. And we, even during and after our meetings, she would pray with me. She would check in on me. And that's, if it had not been for her, this book would have not come to fruition.
Yeah. Wow, that's quite the journey, right? When you that panel between the
Hmm.
panel, getting her information to actually writing the 2 years went by? Did I
Yes.
get the timeline right?
2 years.
And then you did it in 3 months.
Yes. Talk publishing, I recommend her to anyone because I think what helped too, like I said, she was a woman of faith. So she matched my, like one time after our meeting, she goes, can we pray? I said, let's go. Let's
Yes.
So we were praying over my project. She was praying over me. And I saw some of the other people she had worked with. And like I said, divine intervention just kept on finding its way in, of course. And she was just the perfect, setup and the encouragement. And she had a learning management system. So every
Okay.
week it had me watching a video or filling out a form for my ISBN for the Library of Congress for my book cover. And they designed it. And we, did so just the typesetting, just everything 'cause I've heard about, like, nightmares of people who self-publish, and I was like, "Yeah, there's no way I would have the time or capacity to do all those things."
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that you found that. So, I love that you said she has a system. And
Yes.
I think a lot of people, they also self-publish because I mean, I know people who've had stories where they were ripped off. They spent thousands of dollars with people, and nothing came out of it. So a lot of people are going the self-publishing route for that
Yes.
reason because you can do these things, but you do have to have the structure, the time, self-accountability, or some type of accountability to get these things done.
And then you just don't know what you don't know, like, I'm on, the Spark I'm trying to think of the platform, it's Spark, and that's how you get onto Amazon and into Barnes& and Noble and all these other book places. Ingram Spark, I would have not known to get registered on Ingram Spark. I would have not
Hmm.
known, all these different so now I can go to Barnes& and Noble and have a book signing, and because they only order, they won't order directly from the author, but they have to do their wholesale ordering. I wouldn't have known to do that. I would have limited
Right.
myself.
Right. And I was telling you before we were started recording how I sat down with one of my friends who's gone through the process but self-publishing. And he told me all of that. The number of notes, the different, all the spaces you need to go, why you shouldn't do a free
Yes.
is bin number through Amazon. You need to have your own and like all of these things that I
Yes.
would have never known. And I'm
Yes.
like, it's doable, but it's a lot.
It is.
But I think it's easier to conceptualize if you get it all, you see it, and then it's broken down too. But I
Yes.
love that you had someone to work you through that. But bringing us back to your finished product, why do you think so many of us schedule everything but our rest?
I think that's what's been ingrained in us. Like, think about it.
Okay.
So, I'm a woman of a certain age. So I'll be 50 this year.
Black don't crack.
Baby. But I think about watching my grandparents. It was that
Hmm.
hustle grind. Like, short story, my grandfather was involved in a car accident where he was the only survivor. In fact, they had him
Wow.
in the body bag. He coughed, and that's how they knew he was alive. So I live in Racine, so they were coming back from Beloit, and those curves coming back from Beloit, and so he spent like a year in the hospital recovering. So he had a amputated leg and a paralyzed arm. But guess what? Once he got out of the hospital and learned how to use that leg, my grandmother had to start going to work because they had three kids stair steps. Ask me
Yep.
what he did to make sure they had money coming in the house. He
I don't think
walked
I could guess.
he walked the south side of Racine, going door to door selling women's lingerie.
There was a time where there was a catalog and door to door sales for everything.
So imagine this
But when
man, and they didn't know anything but work. Um,
hmm
and I feel like even us, coming up in this hustle culture, like even I used to wake up every morning, go on Facebook and say, rise and grind, rise and grind. Like it was like a badge of
Yep.
honor because I put in 14 hours a day or I've been working 27 days straight, not knowing it's killing us mentally, physically, and
Yeah.
spiritually, and I think that's all we know because that's all we ever witnessed.
And that's how our most of our ancestors got here.
Yes. Working
And
2 and 3
then to
jobs.
get through, we flip it into we work hard and like you play hard, we take care of our family. And then some people, they don't know how to rest. And I'm even going back further for anyone who is a descendant of someone who was enslaved, right? They had to do it. They
No
had to
choice.
do it. And yep. And then what do we do? So now all of a sudden there's all this freedom.
Mhm.
We don't know what rest is. Like the people who knew rest, they have gone on to be with the Lord. Like, they
That is
so
their
far
rest.
from exactly. And they're so far from, there's so many generations removed that
Yes.
all we know is work, 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 work. We don't know pleasure. We don't know enjoyment. Any moment of pause, you're lazy. You're sleeping too late, you're lazy. Everything lazy. And
Mhm.
so that's the word no one, especially not in our
No.
culture, wants to be.
Absolutely. And everybody thinks that pause means stop. It doesn't mean stop. It means we're gonna, take a step back, recalibrate, see if what we're even doing is still even serving a purpose because we might be just spinning on a Ferris wheel, right? Thinking we're getting things done, and you're really not because you don't have
You're just moving.
that's it, for the sake of moving.
So can you say that part again?
You're moving for the sake of moving.
And
For
I hear
optics.
anxiety. Yes, for optics, and I also hear anxiety, right?
Yes.
Because for fear of how you will look, be perceived,
Yes.
and what follows that, whatever the perceptions are, it could be any number of things.
Mhm.
Yes.
But, you are in the mental health realm. Burnout is now and I always get the name of that book wrong, the DSM, the coding, the World Health
Yeah,
Organization put burnout in there. It's not a disease, but it's cause of many diseases now. It's actually
correct.
made the book. So that's why we
Yeah.
have to take a break because burnout is real. Sometimes we play off like we're not burned out, but you really are. And you need to admit it because you can't pour from an empty cup
You cannot.
or dead.
And there's that. And then they love to say, sleep when you die. What? Like, it's
Mm-mm.
so toxic, but, like, you're right, there was a time
Yep.
where I had, like, a cute, like, little screensaver on my phone that was like, "Pray, grind," and stuff whatever, like, it was all
Hmm.
this stuff, but it's like prayer and grinding don't even go together
No.
because then you're not even moving on God's time, but there's a difference between resting on your laurels and not getting busy with purpose with the work that God has told you to do,
Yes.
and people love to overlook I won't say they love to, but many of us overlook that God intentionally built rest in. That's
And
Bible.
on the
On
seventh
the
day,
seventh day, he
he rested.
rested.
Yes. Yes.
He rested. And so we don't, but that luxury was taken away or removed. And then other countries, I need to go where they do siestas and just have
Yes.
that experience of just like this
Yes.
midday break and recharge.
But think about it, throughout the Bible, what did everybody do? 40 days, right? When they went
Hmm.
out into the wilderness, when Jesus was asleep on the back of the boat, everybody had to rest.
I thought about that. So, Stacia, are you telling me we need 40-day vacations? Is that
Yes.
what I just heard?
I mean,
God, give me, Father God, I'm ready. Help me
yes.
structure it, Lord.
Yes. We
40
need
days.
those breaks. Think about it.
I
It's
almost
biblical.
did it. I did 20 something last year, but
I
no,
did
that's not
10.
true. I worked. I was in a different country. I worked some of those days.
I did 10
It's
in
coming though.
Belize.
Ooh, which part?
It was a small city, a small town, like right outside of what was the name of that town? It was right outside Belize City, and it was the best thing ever because I did the non-touristy thing. We got around on a golf cart. The people were
Yeah. Were you
amazing.
in Ambergris Key, like San Salvador?
Oh, now I'm gonna have to
Or
look
was
it
it a
up.
different? Because they have all the different little islands you got to take the
Oh,
boat to get to and
we did
all
an
the
island
stuff.
tour,
Yeah.
yep, but it was the perfect thing because the backdrop, right? Of and there were days even on vacation that and this is why I even tell people too, like, make sure when you go on vacation that you were vacationing because you
Yeah.
shouldn't go on vacation, need a day when you get back to take a vacation from the vacation. Like, on that vacation, literally, every morning we woke up and like, "Okay, what are we gonna do today? Let's go
Yeah.
get massages. Let's go into town and go taste some rum." But it was just really random, and then, like, there was a couple nights we all ended up in one bed watching a movie. Like, there wasn't like we had to
I
go,
love that.
you know what I'm saying?
Do stuff.
I'm not an early bird. I look out my window the one day, two friends sitting out, other than I just, because we had a condo or like a siesta. So there was 2 bedrooms in the back of the condo and then 2 front, and we had our own court, like, so the boat could come up and pick us up. It was part of a community, and literally, I looked out the window, just out there by the water reading, like, and that was the best thing ever. And then I also did a
Yeah.
solo trip last year.
Where'd you go?
So I did this thing called Pack Up and Go. I don't know if you've ever heard.
Okay.
So Pack Up and Go is a service, and they plan your entire trip. You don't know where you're going to the day you leave.
This sounds exciting. Some people would be terrified. I just
I
need to know the temperature so I can know
they
how to pack.
That's what they do. So I found out about it from a colleague of mine, and it's all stateside. Um, you They'll plan trips from anywhere from 1 to 10 people. I decided, you know what, I'm hitting my wall. I need a break. So 3 weeks before the trip, I filled out the questionnaire. You tell them, you know, are you a foodie? Do you like to go to sporting events? Do you want to support BIPOC businesses while you're there? Do you want to go? I told them I liked water. I told them, you know, I liked, you know, culture and that I was a foodie. So they plan the whole trip. Then you get an email telling you, okay, this is the time and day in the airport you're leaving from. This is what the weather forecast is gonna be like when you're there. So I was like, okay, I started putting it together. And then they told me pack a pillow because your flight's a little bit longer than what we normally do. So I was like, okay, that's gotta be Pacific Northwest because I can get to the East Coast pretty fast. And then the night before, you get an email. You get a packet in the mail the week before, and you get an email the night before. It says, do not open this email until you open your packet. So you open the
Uh,
packet, and
I
it tells
like
you
a good surprise.
there are people that like girlfriends that apparently that do it like once a year, and they like they wait till they got to the airport to open. I had to know the night before because I didn't know what to pack. Like, I wanted to make sure. But they made my dinner reservations. They planned all my excursions. I went to the Cholula Garden. I went to the Space Needle. I did a walking coffee tour. Did a harbor boat cruise.
So you were in Seattle.
Yes, yes. So I was yeah. So they sent me
Okay.
to Seattle. It was awesome. I was there Monday through Friday, and it was amazing. But I needed that break
That's so
again.
dope.
It was a pause, Monday through Friday. I didn't take any meetings. Well, I didn't. I turned up all my alarms. Even when they scheduled my stuff, I told them I only want to do one thing a day, if that, and it needs to be after 10 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
But they
So
had me
you
at
can
the
take your
Kimpton
time.
Hotel. I was within walking distance of everything they set up for me. It was glorious. I will do it again.
Yeah, I'm about to go look this up as soon as we finish recording. And then you just made me think like, when do I have a break coming up? But we're doing a family cruise. This is delayed birthday celebration for my nephew, not birthday, graduation celebration for
Okay.
my nephew Cameron. And I said, I was like, I'm not working on this cruise. But with the exception to record my brother's episode
No,
of the podcast. So I was like, okay,
of
we can
course.
record that on the ship. That's
Right.
cool. But but he'll be the first person that I'll do an interview with like in the same space.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Yes.
that'll be different. Maybe that'll open up some stuff. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I intentionally committed to it, and I was like, Lord, you'll send the money for whatever, because week off, I'm an entrepreneur. It matters, but
Yes.
the time is needed. So you've said that rest is a requirement, not a reward. Can you share how that shift has changed your own life?
Like I said, I'm a woman of a certain age now, and your body starts to tell you, like, I can't do oh, if I go to sleep now and do this and I work for 3 hours, I'll be fine. Like, I can't do that anymore. And I noticed, people don't believe it's true, me getting the proper rest has helped my weight loss, my skin, my mental
Mhm.
clarity, me even shifting to the mindset of not being hustled in this hustle all the time is I'm actually getting more done because again, I found myself on that wheel just moving to be moving, but wasn't going anywhere.
Mhm.
And then others have seen it too, right? And so we have to practice it and share it with others or preach it. And I think everybody thinks because I've always had, public roles is that I'm an extrovert. I'm really an introverted extrovert. Like sometimes I'm the life of the party, but then I'd rather be at home on the couch because I have to people so much and my social battery runs low.
Yeah.
And I've had to, like, my therapist even told me one time, she said, "You need an armor bearer, like the church." She said, "So when you're out in public and it's not work related, you need somebody that can come in, swoop in and be like, oh, no, she's not talking about this right now." Or so I've had to set boundaries even of no is a sentence, right? And if I
Yes,
don't feel like
complete.
if I don't feel like going somewhere personally, like I don't have to give an explanation, or I just don't want to. And I had to create those boundaries with everyone.
And Stacia, as you're saying that, I think for a lot of people, no's not built into the culture.
We're people pleasers also.
Yes, because of that. We are our parents, caregivers have groomed us, raised us to be people pleasers.
Mhm.
And so were they. And when I look back
Yes.
now, knowing all the things that I know about mental health, there's so many people that I saw who had attitude problems when really it was anxiety. It was really anxiety.
I remember going to the doctor, and this was, like, during my dissertation time because my prime time was 10 PM to 2 AM to write. And then there got to be
Hmm.
a point where I was having trouble sleeping. I went to the doctor, I was like, "Oh, I need a sleep study. I can't sleep. I think I slept through the night. It's really just been an hour. I can't sleep." And she said, "Are you stressed?" And I was like, "Yeah, probably." She said, "It's anxiety. It's your mind is not stopping at night to let you rest,
Hmm.
and that's why you're not sleeping."
Yep. Yep. And even as you were talking about rest helping with your weight loss and everything, and then the grind culture creates stress. So, what a lot of us have learned to do is we create stress, we create a crisis because it
Yes.
motivates us, it activates us. And we have to really learn how to be intrinsically motivated from a positive space, not a
Mhm.
what are people going to say? You being lazy, just get up,
Or we
or
wanna be
just
the
talking.
hero. We wanna be the hero and to save the
That,
day, right? Because we
yeah.
some people it's like the dopamine, they need that clout, right? Like, it turns them on when actually you need to save yourself because we have so many people counting on us, whether professionally, personally. I'm a parent and daughter, like you said, raising grown adults now, the tides have turned on now.
Mhm.
Raising adults is ghetto, by the way, raising parents. But, we have a lot of people depending on us.
Yeah.
And like I said before, we cannot pour from an empty cup, and we're no good to them
Mhm.
if we don't take care of ourselves. And we watched it.
Correct.
Think about it. There's research that shows like people who are like retired police officers, firefighters, or think about those that worked in manufacturing 25, 30 years down in the foundries
And
and just
that's a lot of people in Racine. That's why we have the
yes.
Black population we have. They came for those blue collar jobs.
Yes. And you think about and the research shows that those folks are more susceptible to having heart attacks and strokes when they retire because
Ah.
for the police officers and firefighters, they're in fight or flight all the time, right? They're high anxiety
Yeah.
jobs. And then when their body stops, it's like, what are we doing now? Like, and same thing, like a friend of mine, her father had his stroke 2 weeks after he retired from Case Company. But his body had been through that for years and years and years. And then you retire, it's like body's like, okay, when we're gonna move, when we're gonna it doesn't know what to do. And so there's
Yeah.
research to show that. And that's another reason too. We need to take care of ourselves mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. And
All of it.
we know as people of color, the emotional and the mental, we will do it spiritually, right? But the emotional and the mental health has been a stigma. And don't get me wrong, I believe I'm a firm believer. And yes, go to pastor, but if pastor don't have a degree in psychology, or if it doesn't have a license for mental health, they can do what they can do, right? And you talk
And
you through
pastor
this.
might have the same maladaptive coping skills you're using.
Exactly. So don't be ashamed to go get I mean, it's there for a reason, you know, and find the right one. The first one you go to might not be the right, but go until you find one.
Yeah, and it's all connected. So there's that stigma there. But then people, it's so interesting how people are moving just to move, but then some of them, they don't want to go to the gym. They don't want to go work out. They don't want to go work. Like, like go for a walk, do something like that. Or they'll do it after a health scare and then things get back to
And then
normal
they
and then
stop.
they go back to the same behaviors and it becomes a loop rather than it becoming a lifestyle change.
Yes.
So there's such a mindset shift that needs to happen.
Mhm.
And I'm that person that can draw so many parallels to the enslavement period in the United States, but like
Mhm.
having feeling, you didn't have room to have feelings,
Nope.
to express them. And to express them could mean could literally be in danger, like
Mhm.
literally being in danger. So we've been taught to suppress and we work hard, we
Mhm.
suppress what we feel, and then we don't take care of ourselves because nothing for those prior
Nope.
generations was really about them. Now that's trickling down to we have a
Mhm.
bunch of anxious people who are operating like they're fighting for their lives or
Mhm.
just to stay alive for another day,
Yes.
and that nothing's ever really about you and don't nobody got time for your feelings.
Nope.
And that's not even the reality that we're sitting in. This intergenerational trauma at its finest. And
Think
it's
about
coming out behaviorally.
think about how much people are desensitized even to violence. Like I've
Absolutely.
worked with folks in, different areas, and something will happen and it doesn't even like, oh, a gunshot went off. It doesn't even flinch. Just do what you're supposed to do. Okay, back to normal, right?
Stacia, it was not until I left Racine, it was in an area, and I don't know if it was like a holiday or something, like New
Mhm.
Year's Eve
Mhm.
or 4th of July, a big bang. And I realized, I was like, girl, you don't hear gunshots anymore. Like, and I grew up on the South Side, but we were on a nice block, right? Which don't mean nothing. Really, when you think about it, it means absolutely nothing. And I just
Yes.
remember the times where I had to hit the floor because I was in the
Yep.
kitchen by the window, heard a
Yep.
shot, didn't know where it was coming from, hitting the floor, or having to run from the South Side Center because somebody pulled
Got
out a
to,
gun or somebody started shooting and had to
yes.
literally just run and not look back.
Mhm.
Like that was the normal state of being that my body was in. And there's still people
Mhm.
living in that environment.
Yes. Yeah, it just and then you think about now the younger generation, because of the different video games and what they have more access to on TV and online, totally desensitized to the trauma, or realize some don't
Yep.
realize they're in trauma because they're just like, okay, I got to fix this first, or I have to do this. I don't have time. I don't have time mentally to stop and have a cry, or to stop and
Yep.
worry, right?
But that crash out
Yes,
takes you out longer.
yes,
And if you were intentional, allowed yourself to have it, the crash out would have never happened. What could have
hmm,
been fixed in like maybe 10 minutes,
yes,
now it's taking you 10 days and lost relationships.
or holding it in, like let it out. That's why
Yep.
a therapist is so wonderful, because there's no judgment. There's no, you need to let it out to somebody. If you don't trust, if your folks, you don't, they talk and you know they can't hold water. Go talk to the
Yeah.
therapist. Like, my therapist gives me assignments. She checks me. She makes sure, okay, it's getting cold out, Stacia. Do you have a plan for working out? Because you don't like going outside in the cold. Is there a plan for
Yeah.
that? Is there like, get some form of just even mindfulness. Like, how many times have you come home and just sat in the car for like 10 minutes before you go in the house? Or, just even, or going to work, you sat in the car, like, or just like, so I had this little thing I would do to de stress. I was working in downtown Chicago, um,
Uh-huh.
and I worked on 180 Wabash. So it's like steps away from the Macy's right there.
Okay.
And so if I was a vice chancellor of the entire district, of city
Mhm.
colleges. So if I got stressed or just needed a breather, I would walk over to Macy's, go to the fourth floor to where the clearance shoes were, and just try on shoes for like 30 minutes or an hour. I might buy some, I
Yeah.
might not, but if I, like, found a good deal, then I felt, but I just needed to not think about anything for that 30 minutes or so, and I love shoes, so I would go up to that 4th floor to the clearance section and try on some shoes, and if I brought a bag back, I did. If I didn't, I could now go back because I was recalibrated. I could, I was refocused, and I just needed that little clarity moment. And we need those mindful
Yeah.
moments throughout the day, throughout the week. I have, like I said, I plan my pause days. Sometimes, it's nothing but be on the couch. Sometimes it's, okay, I already know I'm going to get a massage or I'm going to do some retail therapy. I go to the farmer's market, put on a backpack and take a $20 bill and just walk around, people watch and buy my vegetables. Just, it doesn't have to be anything extravagant or expensive. If you have a garden, go outside, talk to your garden,
Yeah.
do a puzzle. Like, it doesn't have to be, we're balling on a budget. We can do these things and still have these amazing self-care days without it breaking us.
Yes. So, Stacia, you're saying all this. I'm like, when you gonna do an event? When you gonna do a pause party?
Yes, we're here. So it's funny because I wrote the book.
Oh, you know what you need to do?
I want to
I
do one
see a
like in
collaboration. I see a collaboration. Do a pause. How do I want to say pause by pack up and go?
yes, 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 yes,
Yes. And I need to
yes,
come.
yes. Because they do. So they do surprise trips that you can also tell them what city you want to.
Yes.
You can
Yeah.
just say, nope, there's people coming from different. Because when I wrote my business plan, so it's funny. So I sent like, little girl, what's the first thing you tell every entrepreneur you work with? Do you have a business plan? And I had written mine. So I came home after the brewer game and wrote a 47-page business plan. And in my plan, one of my mid to long term goals is to do a retreat,
Yeah.
like go to an island or go to Costa Rica or somewhere and do a retreat. And
Yeah.
in the meantime, between time, I was thinking about this year between Christmas and New Year, like getting an Airbnb and having a pause pajama party.
Yes.
And, because that's when, a lot of people are off between Christmas and New Year. We need that break. We've been grinding all year. We got to get our mind right for the, Q1 for some people. They have to think about that, or just the beginning of the year going back. And so I was like, wouldn't it be fun to have, because I'm also in the process of, so the book is the book, and I wrote the book because it was needed, but it
Hmm.
is also a platform for me. So I've been doing speaking engagements around it. Like, I just did one at the Better Ways to Cope conference, and
Yeah.
I did a talk, and it was called Beyond the Hustle: Letting Rest Be Your Superpower.
Love that. Oh,
And I
I
did
think I saw you post about it.
Yes, and then I did another talk for this women's group that they were having a day out, and I was brought one of the people that got brought. We were sitting on pillows and just, vibing and talking. But I'm going to be sourcing products from BIPOC and women-owned businesses to help you with your pause days. Or
Yeah.
so I'm gonna be doing a quarterly subscription box to highlight these businesses,
Love
but to
this.
also get your candles, get your aromatherapy. There'll be adult coloring books, mandalas,
Yeah.
stones, teas, coffees. So, like I said, it's a platform, but then I want to do the things like you said, pause days and pause vacations, because we need them, where we just go and get pampered, or just, you know, people who can relate to what we're going through, and
Yeah.
having those pause moments. So that's what, the goal really is to, I put that in my business plan, is to do these like pause events and pause retreats, because sometimes we won't
Yeah.
do it if nobody forces us to. And I want to highlight other Black
Absolutely.
businesses. love, supporting. Like, I have some products I just got in the mail now of a husband and wife that started their own skincare line. They're out of Green Bay, Wisconsin, and
Mm.
they started a skincare line out of necessity for one of their kids' eczema. And now
Uh-huh.
the husband went back to school and learned all the chemistry and everything behind it, and now they open their own storefront called Favorite Brands. So they have beard oils, they have creams, they have chapsticks, they have, and just amazing. In fact, I think I do have, what do I have? Oh, yeah.
You
So I
gotta
have
keep
some
it
of
on
their,
deck.
I do have
Yeah.
like their products. They have a
Oh,
turmeric
wait. I
favorite
think I've
brand.
seen them online somewhere.
Probably so. They are amazing. Like, they have a turmeric face wash. Um,
Mhm.
just, the all natural, and then I'm supporting, and then putting, supporting a business, a local business, because these things in the stores, we don't know what's in that stuff.
We sure
Like,
don't. And when you can't half pronounce it.
exactly. But I know them and I know who I'm buying from. So I know it's supporting somebody that I believe in. And so I have these number of folks that I know locally and as well as regionally and nationally that I know some black winemakers now. I know some, so I'm going to do a pause pairing where we pair wine with each chapter.
Oh, that
You
sounds
know,
fun.
a shut up and read event where, everybody just comes and reads and then we talk about it. So there's like I said, there's more to this and there's going to be so much more. I'm going to be at the Black Diamond Weekend in Hampton Roads in Hampton, Virginia in November for their Black Diamond Weekend. So I'm going to be a panelist as well as I'll have a booth with my products and the book and some of
Love it.
I even have I think she's 8 or 9. So there's a young lady that makes this stress slime and I have her
Uh-huh.
product. Yes.
I love this so much.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm hearing so much alignment between what you're doing and some of the things that I want to do. And I need to get a whole business plan together. Like I said, God been giving me
Yes.
all these ideas and I'm like, can't
Yes.
do them all at once. So yeah, like I definitely can see us doing some more work together, like some in-person stuff for sure.
Yes.
Because it's the same type of things and we're in different areas. So that's cross exposure,
Yes.
both of us.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I love it. I love the idea. So, what are some small pauses that people can start practicing today?
Like I said, sometimes you get home and maybe you don't have a long commute. So that extra 10 minutes in the car just to breathe, relax before you go in the house, whatever your hobby is. Um,
Hmm.
I love to cook. And so, everyday cooking but I'm a foodie. So I love like recreating recipes that I see online. And so sometimes I turn up Apple on my iTunes. I have that playlist and I just get to chopping and dancing
Yeah.
and singing and
Yeah.
praising. And then and then I have this new dish and that was a stress relief for me. Working out can be a stress release. Like I said, some things
Hmm.
we we don't have to wait till a pause day. We do need to have mindful moments.
Yes.
I have a few journals. I also have some pamphlets that I read, like I have from my church, where it's daily Bible verse and lesson with it, just to take that
Okay.
time. The way I start, and this is how crazy it is. So there's algorithms, and there's this gentleman out of Texas called the Snot Doc. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Uh-uh.
So he's a African American ENT doctor, but he does these amazing prayers to start the day. And so now, have you seen him?
Is this? I may have. He just does. He's in his scrubs and all of that. You can
Yes.
see him in there in the room prepping. He just does his prayer. Then I didn't realize that was his name.
Yes. And so the way my life works, when I open my phone in the morning, I open Instagram, his prayer is the first thing that pops up on my phone. So I have no TV on. I close my eyes as if I'm in the room with him and I receive his prayer. And
Yeah,
that's how I start my day. So there's these, and
love
then,
that.
there's these mindful moments that you can do. Even like I said, I would go and try on shoes during the pandemic. I would go outside and talk to my garden. Um,
Yeah.
Walk down the block. We're not balling on a budget. Take $20 and go to the dollar store. You know how much stuff you can get in the dollar store for $20?
Well, it's the $1.25 store
Right.
now, but you can still get
Right.
a lot.
Exactly. And go, go get a pedicure. Um, there's just so many things. Go see a movie, but you know what? And the one thing I did find out by taking that solo trip is I'm a damn good time by myself. Like I'm a
Yeah.
take yourself to dinner and don't worry about people looking at you because a lot of people are doing it now. Like take yourself to dinner, take yourself to the movies and enjoy it without having to make small talk or make sure everybody's okay. And I order a whole people probably think there's more people coming because I order a whole bunch of food because I love tapas style. So I'll just order a whole bunch of
Yeah.
stuff, knowing I'm gonna take it home. And just, if nothing else, turn off your phone, turn off your laptop, put it on do not disturb, and lay on the couch and watch mindless TV or catch up catch up on some shows. Like I DVR everything because I usually don't watch TV till like 10 o'clock at night. Catch up on your shows or watch some movies that you heard about, but you haven't had a chance, and just sit on the couch, get your snacks. It's just your cheat day.
Right. Now, and just to be clear, this is for people who are always on. We're not just encouraging people to be on the couch all the time. It's balance. Because somebody
Right.
going to be like, well, Dr. Stacia said I
Yes.
could.
Disclaimer.
Because if you already doing this, you don't need to add more.
No. And I do it like
We'll have a different episode for you.
exactly. And I do it like anywhere from, every 4 to 6 weeks or so. Or I plan it knowing,
Yeah.
like, for instance, we know that sometimes, like, if we have a huge event coming up, right? We know we're going to be in grind season. So plan
Yep.
it for after that event is over. And make sure you have that day set aside that
Yep.
that's what's going to happen because you already know what your body's and your mind's gone through and your stressors. So plan ahead of time. Or just because
Absolutely.
we know our bodies and we know our minds, we know that every so many weeks or, and watch, believe it or not, watch the weather and the moon and all these things as well because like I'm in Wisconsin. We're about to be snowed in and dark
Yeah.
outside. So I have to make sure now, since I'm not getting natural vitamin D, that I'm gonna have to take a supplement because we also
And
need
or sit outside for maybe 10 minutes if you can, depending on the
yes.
temperatures.
And so we have to watch the
Yep.
weather. We have to watch that stuff. People always say weird things happen during the full moon and the red moon. It's true. Anybody that works in the
Mhm.
hospital knows. So just be mindful of, your scenarios, where you're at, what you have going on, or how much time. Like I wear a smartwatch. And after I had a scare, and so I will always wear a smartwatch because my smartwatch is
Mm.
what triggered me to go to the ER in Jamaica because it was telling me my body, it was telling me my resting heart rate was 120. So left for Jamaica on a Friday, ended up in the Jamaican hospital on a Sunday. I was dehydrated. My blood pressure had spiked. Turns out when I got home, I found out I had pneumonia.
So that spike was your body fighting pneumonia.
Yes. Because when we're in fight or flight all the time, so like when I got to Jamaica, what did my body do? I was rested and it's like, so we have to listen to our body. So we know ever so often and the shift of the seasons and all these things, events going on, taking care of our loved ones, and
Yeah.
we have to make sure that we get out of this
Mm.
caretaker guilt too. Because again, we can't do anything for them if we are laid up somewhere too,
Yeah.
you
That's
know.
like blind leading the blind, but it's,
Hmm.
being very limited. There's so much good stuff that you said in there about how easy it is taking that 10 minutes to do whatever. And these are things that require you to have more money as much as it is. I think a big block is mentally for people,
Yes.
that guilt. So, like, not just caregiver guilt, but just me taking time for me is somehow taking away from someone else.
Hmm.
That mindset shift is so hard because you're going against
Yes.
so many years of programming and everything
Yes.
you've seen your aunties, big mamas, everybody doing all of these things that's not the way it's done. But you can look at people
Mhm.
and see that they're unhealthy. You can see that they're burned out. And I'm going to say this, we don't know how to mind our business.
No, no,
We don't know how to mind our
no.
business. And we think that we're helping people. And then we'll say, well, I just want to make sure you ain't da 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 da. No, mind your business. And sometimes people do need to learn their lesson, not saying that you're going to just
Right.
allow them to walk into
Yes.
oncoming traffic
because then
right.
it becomes your
But
problem. Then it becomes your problem, or
yes.
you think it's your problem, or because you've done so much for them, then you're enabling, so their problem's gonna continue to be your problem, right? And that's just a
Yeah,
cycle that we have to break. And even if
yeah.
we can get others to see it in us, I think about that
We gotta
that
model it. Yeah.
I think about a friend of mine. We were both setting up, I have a photo booth business as well, and we were both setting up an event. He was setting up their wine, I was setting up my booth, and he recognized, and I was also on the committee that was running the event for Big Brothers Big Sister. And because he knows me, he recognized that I needed a break from people. And so, like, because people kept on coming up to me, and he just took me to the side. He's like, "Stacia, come here for a little bit." And he took me over to where I could be by myself, let my social battery rejuvenate so that I could be
Mm-hmm.
on for the rest of the night. So we need
Mm-hmm.
those people, but also we need to recognize it in ourselves, like, just like you said,
Yes.
let them be. No is a, and it's not that we're not going to help them if and when we can, but some things, like you said, people need to work out themselves. And we can't,
Yeah.
we can't be superwoman. Sometimes we gotta take off our cape and put it, take it to the dry cleaner and wait for it to come back. Right?
I don't
Like,
want a cape. Look, I don't want a cape anymore. I don't. I don't want to be
no,
anybody's superhero,
no,
honestly. And you're getting to something really important is because people have been so used to not having boundaries and that doing for others is selfless and doing for you is
mm-hmm,
selfish. And there's a whole lot in between those two that they don't recognize their own pattern.
mm-hmm,
And to pause, to say this is what I need or to recognize I'm actually taking away from
mm-hmm,
the moment with
mm-hmm,
my energy. It's actually drawing from the group, from the event, or I'm just depositing negativity.
mm-hmm.
And it's just like, go, please go sit down somewhere. We don't want you here. Not like this.
No, because
Not
when you're
like this.
like you said, it's really anxiety, and when you're rested and, all that is in, then you can recognize in yourself too. Like, I recognized the one day in myself when I was somewhere and somebody was giving some directions for something, and the way she did it, she was, like, very short with the person, and I was like, "That's me. I now I know what I looked like when I
Mm.
did that. I can't do that.
Ah,
That was me."
okay. That's what God will do. And I had this revelation. I was working with a client and we were talking about anxiety and how it shows up in like black women in particular and even how we're programmed because we're
Mhm,
modeling what we've learned from the women who've come before us. And I was like, yo, we can't really be Proverbs 31 women if we're minding everybody else's business and we're the one bringing the chaos into the home. We're hitting the door and looking for what people didn't do in the house. Why my house dirty? Why is this like this? Why is
"Why you take the chicken out?"
just you're supposed to bring the peace and you come in with the chaos. You come in citing all the problems.
Yes.
And we don't even know that we're doing it because we're just repeating what we lived, what we were
Listen,
exposed to, and not ever really truly thinking and assessing to look around to see that's not really working.
and they
Maybe I
and
can
my
or
our
should do
parents
something
didn't.
else.
Parents, for the simple fact of not knowing any better, they, like you said, it's just generationally passed down, passed down, passed down. They didn't know any better. Like, I tell my niece and nephews, I watch my mom with them, and she's very affectionate with them. And I was like, growing up, well, she was in fight or flight. I don't remember the affection I got from my
No,
grandparents.
she was in survival mode.
Yes, yes. Raising two black
And you don't
men. Yes, yes. And so to get out of that survival mode, that's why. And two, you think about it, as parents, and whenever you snapped at your child and you realize, oh my goodness, I brought everything from the outside world in here, and this child didn't even, like, what they did. Okay, maybe they did something wrong, but they didn't deserve the way I
that
just yelled at
intensity.
them. Yes. And I need to take a step back.
And when that 10 minutes in the car could have allowed you to reset and there's a lack of self-compassion
Yes.
that is there because then you're like, no, 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 they're waiting for me. They need me. They're depending on me. They was all right before you got there. They will be okay for another 10 minutes. They are not unattended. They're not out on
They
somebody's
alive.
street.
I'm right
They
here.
they in the house. They secure.
And
You know what? Take the long way home.
think about
Go
too, even professionally, or instead of reacting right away to an email and you like the Kermit the Frog that, no, she didn't. And what if you took a pause
Yep.
before responding? Because maybe you might be creating more, like you said, we might be creating more chaos by having to respond in the moment instead of sitting back for a second and just letting it be
Mm,
a draft. Or
yes.
let's not even do email or text. Let's pick up the phone and call because there's so many things lost in translation. Why don't we talk this out? Because we don't
Yeah.
talk anymore.
People really don't. And then we get it wrong because if we already have something going on, our filter may be clogged up with other stuff. And
Hmm.
so things that normally are supposed to sift through or go through, they get stuck.
Yes.
That wasn't even supposed to set you off. But that's because things are out of balance.
And they can be out of balance at home or at work. And both of them can, like, that's why I said I don't subscribe to the balance. I subscribe to the integration because
Yeah.
they do affect each other. Hmm. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And
That's
that
good.
might not happen over, some people, the first time you pause, it might feel weird. Like you say, you might feel like, oh, I know they're waiting on that email from me. Guess what? That email's going to be there. Unless it's detrimental or
Email's
there's a
gonna be there.
deadline, and those mindful moments, it can even be, um, like I said, it can be something simple as getting a stress ball and just figuring out what's going to help you. Or I found this new thing. Have you heard about the aromatherapy pens? It's an ink pen, but it's got aromatherapy top to it, so you can be writing and then
Ah, that is genius. Because you
yes,
can keep working. They've done a great job of pairing it with something that you already do.
yes,
Like it's a trigger for it to make it in a
yes,
positive way. Like it's a way to make you so because like things like citrus, peppermint,
yes, lavender.
those are really good. But lavender, that's gonna take me down. But productivity,
Oh,
right?
yes,
When you're like writing. So I'm
absolutely,
thinking about like at work while you're being productive you're
absolutely.
taking in these things that
Jasmine,
are gonna support that. Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
So I'm actually working with a woman. Her company name is Mia Rose, and she's created some rest and relax oils and sugar scrubs and things for our partnership, as well as
Yeah.
like abundance oil that you put in your hands. And
Mhm.
we about to go, pitch to this company. I'm rubbing my abundance oil, right? So
Yes.
we're partnering, and like she's did some gift sets for me, and she's got stuff for men, for women, things that can also help with your skincare. Because she's another one. She's in the mental health space, but she started this because of her own. She's originally from Hawaii, and she started her own because of her eczema and different skin issues,
Yeah.
and she didn't want to use what the doctors were prescribing. And when I tell you, I had a bout with it, and I used it was called the winter scrub. It's called Sweater Weather, was one of them she created, and
I
you can use it on
love
your
that name.
face, you can use it on your body. So think about, have you heard about this new kind of thing called dark showering? So shower in the dark, maybe some music on, because it can, again, it's going to relax you.
It's somewhat of a sensory deprivation. Yeah,
Yes.
I got it. I
And
got
then
it.
get one of those showers. Have you tried the shower steamers yet? Here's another mindful moment.
Oh, yeah. I like those. Yeah. You just put
So
it
get
down
you a
in the bottom.
yes, get you a shower
You can get
steamer,
you some
dim the
eucalyptus and hang it
lights.
in there.
Yes. And let that, so, um, again, those are just like, those things don't cost a lot. It doesn't take a lot of effort. The
Mhm.
chaos can be going on with the kids killing each other out there, but that 15 minutes you can have that shower by yourself.
They just sound like they're killing each other. They're actually
Exactly.
okay.
But, these little things that, people are discovering, like when I discovered the shower steamers, I was just like, because I don't take baths, but I love a
Yeah.
long shower, let the water hit my face. But that steamer upped the game
Yeah.
changer. I just,
Yes.
take it in. And again, something that's a mindful moment, me pausing. I get my best ideas in the shower. And I know it's because I'm relaxed, I'm calm. Like I keep my
Yeah.
phone or a notebook or something near the bathroom or near my bedroom because I get my best ideas in the shower.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
You let everything go and like we're literally washing things away. Like there's so many reasons why. Cause you're just yeah, you're able to just like
Mhm.
just be and it's so
Mhm.
important.
Mhm. Give yourself your own facial.
Um yes, all these things, right? And I think too, people think that self-care we have to go book an appointment for a lot of things. And it's stuff that we can do on a daily basis. Or some people they won't allow themselves. Because then
Yeah.
they'll say, well, I want it this way. So you'll take nothing.
Mhm.
You'll
Mhm.
take nothing
Or you think you're taking,
because
like you
it's
said
not the way
before,
that you want.
you think you're taking away from somebody else. But no, take care of you deserve it. You just absolutely deserve it.
You just hit it. So somewhere in there, a lot of times, there is a core belief that has not really truly been acknowledged or labeled about deserving, worthiness,
Yes. You've given all you got. You don't have
or
anything
that
left to
it's a
give.
luxury,
Yes. Well,
or you bougie now because you do that.
no, baby, I'm taking care. I want to be here for a while. I want to see, some things. I want to travel. I want to, I just want to enjoy my life and be healthy doing it mentally,
And if
physically,
that's
spiritually,
bougie,
financially,
okay, okay, I'll
and
be
some of our
that.
stressors, like, finances and things. Let's get some better relationships with money. Let's get better relationships with our mental health. Because once you understand it better, I feel like you do better too. Like,
Hmm.
I ain't always been great with, but once you learn about retirement and balling on it, but like how to do these things, right? There's so many ways. People think, man, you in here and you travel so much, you make, oh, it's because you make all that money. No.
Oh, you rich.
hmm And it's like, no, oh, I saw you wearing that. No, there's called resale shops. There's
There's so much, but also, I don't think people so like the places that people feel like they always need to go: New York, Miami, LA, and then of course people love Jamaica too, right? But those and Las Vegas,
yes, and
those
Atlanta.
places, yep, even Atlanta, it's so much more expensive to go to those places than to go out of the country. But people just assume because they want to allow themselves to look, it's already outside of what they can do.
My
They
ticket to
assume.
Belize was 370.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably under 300. Yeah, I've gone a couple times to Belize. Love it. And then even some of these other places, like if you're going to the continent or say you're going to like Thailand, those tickets might run you like 1,200. You can get it even cheaper depending on what
Mhm.
season you're going.
But when you
So
get
people,
there,
it's so cheap. You can do five-star things on a budget. Let me tell you, I was in Thailand. We went to multiple Michelin star restaurants.
absolutely.
Only spent like $100 and something, and this would have been like a $500 meal here.
Yes. First time I had
This is why.
caviar was in Belize. It was on some sushi.
There you go.
Like
There you go.
literally. It was a birthday and had a chef come to the house. 3 courses, $200 total.
And that's the type of stuff you can do. Have the chef come to the house. How much was it again?
$200, $210.
There you go.
3 courses, and 2 of them had seafood in them. We got a boat, went island hopping. Our boat driver cooked us fresh fish on the island and had these fresh tortillas, and then he took us where the turtles were, like,
It's a whole other life to be lived.
yes.
And people, they just don't allow themselves, and they're caught up
Mhm.
in that cycle where they're moving and they're not going forward, but they're moving.
Or, "This is my issue," or they're putting it on for the gram,
Then there's that, or they're literally putting it on because they're wearing every single dollar.
or thinking they're to impress, or is it like, sometimes you just need mindful moments. There's been times I went places, people like, "You didn't post a picture about it." "Oh, you know what? I was caught, like, we was having such a good time. Didn't get a chance to take a
Yep.
picture
Yep.
because 'Cause
Listen.
I'm not doing it to impress, I'm doing it because this is the things I like to do."
Exactly. Hold on one second. We talking good. I have to let my next guest know. Give us an extra 10 minutes.
Thank you.
Because I was just looking at the time. I said, oh, we got to move. So this is good. So it sounds like we could travel together, Stacia. Because I'm listening, like all that stuff. I was like, yes, that's all the stuff I like. Having those fresh and just like moments that you could only have being somewhere else.
So, when we were I think it was Jamaica for my brother's birthday, me and my cousin did a couples massage because it was cheaper than
Yeah.
one-on-one, and I know they looked at us like, "Are they a couple? We didn't care. Then in
Okay.
Belize, I got a $50 massage on the beach overlooking the water, an hour massage for $50.
So I think you gave some great tips for anyone, whether they're a caregiver, a leader, a high achiever, on how they can incorporate some rest. How does a lack of rest impact mental health and relationships? You got at this a little bit, right?
Yes. It impacts, like you said, not resting, that anxiety. So even I had to learn about the blue light, right? About taking my phone and turning it off at least an hour before going to bed because it was just so easy for me to pick it back up or a notification go off. And then I'm going to respond, no, at least 30 minutes before you go to bed because then that anxiety kicks in, you're not sleeping. And then when you're not well rested, then you're grumpy in the morning. Then you're going to take that grumpiness with you to your parents, to your kids, to whomever, your spouse, your significant other. Then it's going to get taken to work because you just got in an argument over bacon with one of the kids. And so it's cyclical, right?
Yep.
It's cyclical. And so it can harm personal relationships, professional relationships, with your life partner. And then you have to recognize in both of you, like, you know what? I need a break. I need a break, right? Because then it's going to impact. And then when you're not getting the sleep or when you're burnt out or stressed out, it's causing all these things like you acne, heart attacks, stroke, high blood pressure,
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
stress eating. And what happens when you stress eat?
You gain weight, and then your cortisol level is up. So that's double for weight.
Mm-hmm. Or, you become diabetic because all of a sudden now you're eating like there's so many things that are stress induced. And then sometimes, like, I remember being on another conversation where we were like, well, yes, there's a lot of diseases that are hereditary, but sometimes it's not the disease that's hereditary, it's our lifestyle and our
It's the
diet that's hereditary.
behavior. Yep.
Mhm. Because
Yep.
all we know
That's
is
it.
we used to go to my grandma's house every Friday for fish fry. We had spaghetti, catfish, chocolate
I'm
cake,
so
banana
hungry.
but this is what we ate. All it was everything was fried, everything was, you know, that but again, like you said, ancestrally, this is our ancestral memory because we took the worst of what they gave us and made a delicacy out of it.
Because I don't know why anybody is by choice eating chitlins, pig feet, tripe, all these things
Oxtails,
by choice. But oxtail is so good.
it
I ain't
is.
I'm not eating meat anymore, but oxtail is so good. You're absolutely right.
But all these things, um, just we did have a necessity, and then of
Yep.
course generationally it gets passed down. Even stressors, like stress about just any and all things, our
Mm-hmm.
kids see it. And again, if we don't show them healthy relationships between us and their
Uh-huh.
like think about if you're co-parenting.
Yep.
A lot of times co-parents, we really ain't got nothing to argue about. Let's like we don't live together. A child is
But y'all arguing because it ain't resolved. Y'all ain't said what y'all really want to say.
and why have that anxiety like, oh, okay, he's coming to pick up. What is it going to be today? When that doesn't have to be. We don't have no child support to argue over. We don't have no. Why are to co-parent? We need to let that child see a healthy co-parenting relationship, or even in the home, they need to see a healthy how we communicate. Like that's one thing I never
Yes.
believed in it is arguing in front of kids because one, they don't need to hear it or see it. It's not healthy. It's not healthy for you. Like, let's take it down, right? But we need to
Right.
show them what healthy relationships look like.
Now, on the other side of that, we want to. So I agree with you, right? Depending on where you say argument, I'm thinking about like the big crazy blowouts, but like
Yes.
to see or hear a disagreement and then see y'all
Yes.
work through it is extremely healthy.
Yes.
And people that
Yes.
either they see the chaos or they see nothing. And so then
Yes.
when they don't, then they avoid and they don't know how to
Yes.
work through conflict together
Yes.
without
That healthy
treating that
conflict.
person.
Yes. But the screaming
Yep.
at the top of the lungs and it's scary. And sometimes it scares
It's
the
too
kids,
much. It
right?
is. It is. It's yeah, because kids are in there having anxiety. So now their nervous systems are being activated and they're just in the other room. And that fight
Scared to
or
come
flight
out.
mode, their fight or flight mode is being activated. Like it's all connected.
And then you
It's
see it at
all
school,
connected.
and then it's affecting them at school. Like, there was a firefighter, African American firefighter, I think it's a battalion chief or something in Milwaukee, and he did
Mm-hmm.
some amazing work where he compared the kids, their some of the kids at the local elementary school, their behavior records to police calls and fire calls,
Yeah.
and and how they affected each other. Like the child acting out in school, but just that week there had been a
Mm.
trauma call to their block, or there'd been a gunshot on their, there had been a shooting on their block, or their parents. And he showed
Love that.
where they, you know, where they met at and where they correlated. And this is so,
Yeah.
again, trying to bring more mental health into the schools for the kids and for the
Yep.
families.
Yeah, that's so good.
Mm-hmm. And it's just something he did on his own, but much needed.
That's the whole thing. Yeah. And
Yes.
so that this is why God positions us in so many places to see things, to care about things and have that lens. And we all have something to offer, but if we're not taking pauses and we're bogged down and we're stuck on that hamster wheel or on the treadmill,
Mm-hmm.
we can't find room for purpose
No. Think
because we not minding our business.
no. Because I thought about that, like, with my one job, I was changing roles, and I
Yeah.
had to pause and take a break between roles because I had never taken a break between roles before. I just went into the next one, went into the next one, and not stopping and
Yeah.
making sure, like you said, is this still my purpose? Is this still the purpose for my life? Is this still my goal? Like, do I even want to do this particular thing anymore? Do I want to be pigeonholed into this type of work? So even taking a
But you got to work.
exactly.
And that's what we say. Instead of thinking, we just say, I have to keep going. You can actually give yourself the freedom to think through it. It's not a
Yes.
commitment. It's not you saying no. But some people, they're
In order
so
to
tight. They don't
persevere,
know how to.
oh my good yes. But in order to persevere, you have to pause. There has to be a pause and a
Yeah.
pivot, or a pause and a redirection, or a pause and be like, "Okay, you know what? Things are going well. I can start back now because I've got the clarification that I needed." You have to listen to
Yeah.
that still small voice, right?
But
And
some people
listen.
are so far removed from it. They
Oof,
hear other people's voice. They hear the programming that those awful things that were said to them in whatever unhealthy relationships they were in, whether it was with their parents, friendships, romantic, caregivers, teachers, whatever, coaches. There's so many other voices. And
yes.
people really, that pause is where you get in touch by yourself, those quiet moments alone.
Mhm. In the
And
shower, walking,
we're taught to fear these things though. We're taught to fear these things.
because 'cause we're scared of the unknown, right? Because our parents worked their job for 30, 35 years, the same company, never, never questioned the job, never
And they
bucked the
still
system.
complained. That did not change much, and we don't
Instead
look at
of
that other
venturing
side.
out, exactly, instead of venturing out and being like, "You know what? Yes, this has been a good job, but I wanna do something different now.
Yep,
I wanna do
and
something
that's
else."
okay. And then a job is not your purpose. A lot of times people will really take a paycheck over purpose, but your purpose, like your talents, your purpose,
Yes,
they will make room for you.
absolutely. When they're supposed to. Everything's not happening in God's timing, right? Just
Absolutely.
like my book. 2 years ago, I would have been oh goodness, it would have been a hot mess. But me being at the right place in the right time to have somebody, the way her name came up was sitting on a beach, just having girl chat and talking about our bucket lists. And the book, I wanted to do a TED talk
Mhm.
was on my bucket list, and the book was on my bucket list. And my girlfriend said, "Oh, well, I have this lady. She was a former student of mine, and she does this, she does that." And she gave me her information. And then, like I said, again, I didn't do anything. Then her card came back up, and I was like, "I need to make my appointment." And then I
This is how
almost
you
missed the
know.
appointment because I forgot. I didn't put it on my calendar. It was a Saturday
Yep.
morning. I forgot, and then I was like, "Oh, I had this call with her." And then
The way
she
the
re-
spirit will nudge you.
she recently moved from her and her husband moved the family from Milwaukee to Mount Pleasant, so she's in Racine. Her practice
Oh,
her practice is in Milwaukee, but they live out in Jamestown.
I'm gonna have to get her information and see what the prices looking like offline because I thrive in accountability. I can do something great things on my own, but like just
Yes.
that extra push.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so we're kind of going in this direction already, but what role does faith play in embracing rest as a part of a purposeful life?
So we talked about like I said, being spiritually fed and being spiritually rested and being spiritually grounded, right? And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's the faith that helps us get over the fear of, well, if I don't do this right now, what's going to happen, right? But it's also the faith to teach us that, like I said, rest is biblical.
Yes, it is.
Oh ye of little faith, when Jesus was on the back of the boat and the boat was just, what was he doing?
He was sleeping. Jesus was chilling.
Because he knew what was about to come. He knew that that storm had to come. And then when he woke up, what happened? You know, um,
Mm-hmm.
you think about when, um, even just preparing yourself. So you think about the story of David and Goliath, right? As the story goes, David had 3 stones, and people are like, "Oh, he had them because what if he missed?" Right? No, he had 3 stones because he knew Goliath had 2 brothers.
That's so good. Stacia, I never thought of that.
And think about it. Think about Southside. If you gonna fight me, you gotta fight all of us, right? Right? Like you ain't gonna catch me by
Girl, yes,
myself.
I'm still stuck on David real quick. I was like, I need a sip of water, child, because that just hit.
Think about it. So those 2 other stones, David knew he was gonna hit. It was a matter of if somebody else was gonna come after Goliath, and he still needed
I'm
to protect
still
himself.
loaded, ready.
Right.
That's so
So
that
when
was
we
good.
prepare ourselves in the right way, then we're able to take those pauses because things are lined up, the kids are fed, the work is done, the car is clean, the just all these things, right? So if, like, let's say you stay ready, what they say, you stay ready, you got to get ready.
Stay ready, you don't gotta get ready, yeah?
So have your 3 stones.
Mm.
Have your, not that you're going to miss, but just that there are things in place. That's why we have SOPs, right? That's why we have backup people. That's why we have, out of office messages, right? So you can't get to me, but this person can help you.
That's so good.
hmm So faith plays there's another, um, biblical, but faith-based. So we talk about,
Okay.
the faith of a mustard seed. But I
Mhm.
read something and it was like, yes, it talks about how small a mustard seed is, and you just have that just that much faith can get. But if you think about it too, in biblical days, a mustard seed, when planted and when it thrived or when it was taken care of, right, it actually took over the
Mm.
entirety of that space. And
Such a small thing can produce so much abundance.
yes. So it's like if we think
God, so intentional.
if we live in this abundance mindset and faith over fear, but it's humanistic to, I remember my pastor telling me that before when I was going through a surgery. He's like, it's humanistic to be afraid and to fear, but just remember
Yeah.
who guides you and who protects you and will continue to. And you might be, in a valley moment, but, it's going to be dark on the other side of through. It's always darkest before dawn, right? But on the other side of through,
Mhm.
you're going to see why you had to go through it and why you got dragged and why your name was on, like, you got called everything but a child of God, and why,
Yeah.
you knew the truth about some things, but that's not what's put out there. And it's not for you to go and try and prove your truth because you know.
Right. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. And Exodus 14:14 says, all you got to do is be still. God will fight for you.
Be still. Pause.
And there it is. And I think that is a perfect segue. If you could leave the audience with one powerful truth to help them to rise and thrive, what would it be?
So I'm sure you've heard people say to you, they can see it in your face. They see Jesus in you, or they see the positivity. Just think about how much better you're gonna feel, how much you're gonna thrive and you're going to shine from the inside out by taking care of
Yes.
yourself. So when you take care
Yep.
of yourself, with your food and your diet, when you take care of yourself when you're spiritually fed, when you take care of yourself mentally to do those mindful moments, people are going to see it and wonder what you're doing, and you're going to evoke such a positive, message on them too. Or just
Mm-hmm.
even thinking, even if it's that doesn't happen, just taking care of yourself, because we have a lot of things we want to do. We got countries to visit. We have more accolades or not even about the accolades. We just have more things we want to do with our families, and just
Yep.
we have so much more to give if Because if you don't, you know what happens is then you're so tired that you end up sleeping for 18 hours when you do finally have a day off and you get nothing done. Your house is still going to be messy.
Yep.
Your yard is still going to be a wreck because you have that day off, but you're so tired that you can't do anything because you have not taken the proper rest for yourself mentally, physically, emotionally.
Yeah.
So what I'd also like to share is with that in mind, I did create a code. So if you go to the website, pauseshop.staciathompson.com, and you put in the word thrive at checkout, you'll get 25% off any purchases you make.
You heard it here on Rise and Thrive. That is your promo code, Thrive. All right. And I'll make sure it's down in the description below so that everyone has the opportunity to involved in an intentional pause at a discount.
Yay.
Well, Stacia, this has been so
Thank you so
good.
much. This was awesome.
Yes. And thank you for being here, like, and sharing this and being obedient and following through and doing this project that God put into you.
Yes.
And girl, you're gonna be able to eat up this book. Hello, residual income. Hello, residual. So there is the book and there is the journal. So you can get both. And so she
Yes.
gave you the website. Don't wait. And now, audience, we're going to switch over to you, where it's time for you to reflect. What is one area of your life where you treated rest as a reward instead of a requirement? And then we're going to take action. Choose one intentional pause this week, whether it's 5 minutes of silence, a walk without your phone, journaling, to honor that pause as sacred, non negotiable rest. Just find one way to do that this week. And then finally, I want to leave you affirmed. I give myself permission to pause. Rest is not a luxury, it is my birthright. My body, mind, and spirit deserve renewal. I am aligned with God's rhythm. In my stillness, I receive strength, clarity, and rest. Well, Stacia, thank you again for joining us on Rise and Thrive with Dr. J. Nicole. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you here.
I had a blast, and we're gonna connect because we planning that. Just you heard it here first. We will have a pause pamper party somewhere in the near future.
All right, y'all heard it here. And if this episode has blessed you, please share it with someone. Leave us some comments, like it, help this platform grow so that we can continue to reach more people with these wonderful, uplifting, faith-filled messages. You can also purchase the merch. Go to www.evolvewithdrjnicole.com. And I'll see you next week. But in the meantime, keep rising in faith and thriving in purpose.